Hey folks, today I'm going to talk a bit about the downward early access and give my thoughts and opinions on the game content that I had access to. Obviously I'm not affiliated with the developer, and I purchased my own copy of the game. First I'd like to talk about the things I liked in the game, then I'll talk about what I didn't like, and finally I'll go over some other miscellaneous thoughts and suggestions I have. Okay, so first, things that I liked. I really liked the core parkour gameplay and obstacles. The Wanderer controls very well, and the obstacle elements are fairly forgiving in the open world, while requiring a lot of precision in the challenge areas. Each element in an obstacle is clearly marked by color and pattern, so at a glance you can understand how to interact with it. The obstacle elements are constructed consistently, and the game design is such that it naturally leads you to develop an understanding of the rules the game uses. I also really like the story and storytelling style. You have a number of unreliable narrators in the Old Man, the Astronomer, the computer voice character, the Wanderer, and whoever is writing the item descriptions. From all of those sources, you can start to piece together what is actually going on, but there's always some amount of uncertainty. It really does feel like it's set in the far post-apocalypse. We know the world ended, but we don't really know how or why, or even if there is a how or why. We only know the opinions of whoever else managed to survive. Another good thing about this game is that it's visually stunning. The levels are very well designed, both for aesthetics and functionality. Most of the puzzles and obstacles have a very natural feel to them, like they are part of a beautiful landscape and not just tacked on. You can tell a lot of care went into the design. Next, I'd like to talk about things I didn't like about the game. The first major complaint I have with the game is the golem fights. They're long and tedious and really break up the exploration and pacing of the game. It's especially annoying because we have no way of affecting the golems directly. We simply have to wait for their RNG to decide to use an attack that will make them vulnerable, which in practice can take a very long time. I suggest giving the Wanderer some kind of way to deal with the golems, not necessarily any offensive capabilities, maybe a taunt or some other way to tease out the attack that makes the golems vulnerable more easily. Another thing I didn't like was the travel system through gates and doors. It was difficult to tell whether they were locked or unlocked, if they could be used, and where they would lead. It was also difficult to navigate because they don't really look like doorways that switch between areas. Perhaps there could be torches next to them to highlight that they're usable, or something similar like that. The other thing I had issues with was lighting in some areas. The game got so dark it was basically unplayable. It looks like this has more or less been fixed since I recorded the videos, so hopefully this will not be an issue in future releases. Lastly, I'd like to bring up some other miscellaneous thoughts and suggestions. I really like how the game plays, and I think it has a lot of potential. I plan on doing a full playthrough once it releases. One thing I noticed was that the ambient music and the battle music is claimed on YouTube's copyright system. This doesn't really bother me since I don't monetize my videos, but it seems self-defeating to do that since it will discourage a lot of people from making videos of the game. Overall, I think the game looks really good and feels really good to play too. Once I finish the main game content and polish up a few of the areas, I think it will make for a really solid experience.